Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. Presidency rejects World Bank's poverty report. Akwa Ibom State's Governor Basumoino signs 695 billion naira supplementary budget into law. On the foreign scene, Afghan Taliban Foreign Minister begins first India visit. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. We begin the news at 10 from the national scene where the presidency has disputed the latest economic report by Nigeria's biggest multilateral lender, the World Bank, which estimates that 139 million citizens were living in poverty, describing the figure as unrealistic and detached from the country's economic realities. President Bola Tinubu's Special Advisor on Media and Public Communications, Sunday Dare, said in a post on his official X handle on Wednesday that the poverty figures must be properly contextualized within the limits of global poverty measurement models. The presidency explained that the 139 million figures was derived from the global poverty line of 2.15 per person per day, set in 2017, using purchasing power parity, and should not be mistaken for an actual headcount of poor Nigerians. Away from that, the federal government has again rejected what it described as false and baseless allegations by the United States Senator Ted Cruz, who accused Nigerian authorities of orchestrating a genocide against Christians and allowing the destruction of thousands of churches. But in a statement on Wednesday by its president, Archbishop Daniel Oku, the Nigerian Christian Association affirms without hesitation that many Christian communities in parts of Nigeria, especially in the north, have suffered severe attacks, loss of life, and the destruction of places of worship. Recall that Cruz, in an interview with Newsman, alleged that more than 52 Christians have been killed in Nigeria since 2009, and over 20,000 churches and Christian schools have been destroyed. He also announced the introduction of the Nigerian Religious Freedom Accountability Act in the U.S. Senate, a bill seeking sanctions on Nigerian officials claiming are complicit in religious persecution. But reacting to the claims on Wednesday, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, dismissed the senator's assertion as misleading, exaggerated, and not reflective of reality. Meanwhile, the federal government has announced plans to permanently hold deductions for the cost of revenue collection paid to agencies such as the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the Nigerian Customs Service, and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, among others. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, disclosed this in Abuja while speaking at the panel session after the launch of the October 2025 edition of the World Bank's Nigeria's Development Update, titled From Policy to People, Bringing the Reform Gain Homes. Edun revealed that following a presidential directive, several layers of deduction previously made before sharing proceeds from the Federation Account Allocation Committee have now been scrapped to improve fiscal transparency and ensure that more resources reach the three tiers of government. According to the minister, the reform is part of the government's broader effort to strengthen fiscal governance, promote transparency, and ensure that the federal and subnational government have more predictable revenues to fund development projects. In the meantime, the federal government has appealed to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to shelve its planned strike, assuring that it is committed to addressing all outstanding demands raised by the union. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, said the federal government is already looking into demands of the union and progress is already being made in the ongoing negotiations between both parties. The minister explained that the Mahmoud Yayale Ahmed Federal Government Tertiary Institutions Expanded Negotiations Committee have been reconstituted and inaugurated to fast-track talks with both academic and non-academic unions in universities, polytechnics and colleges of education. He added that President Bola Tinubu had given clear directives that all efforts must be made to avoid another disruptions in the nation's tertiary institutions. Meanwhile, ASU has already begun full mobilization of its members in preparation for a possible nationwide warning strike as its 14-day ultimatum is set to expire on Sunday. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has signed into law the 695 billion naira supplementary budget passed by the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. The signing took place during the October edition of the State Project Delivery Meeting held at Government House, Uyo. Speaking shortly after signing the budget, Governor No expressed appreciation to the Speaker and members of the House of Assembly for the speedy passage of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill. He reaffirmed his administration's commitment to transparency, accountability, and people-centered governance. In a move to accelerate project execution, the Governor also released a sum of 60 billion naira to contractors whose interim payment certificate IPCS were ready and charged heads of ministries, departments and agencies along with delivery advisors to ensure strict adherence to project timelines and standards. The October edition of the project delivery meeting featured 12 key presentations on ongoing projects across various sectors including tree crop revolution, state electricity market, tourism destination marketing, Arise Senior Citizen Centers, Arise Resort, Ibom Tourism Summit, and others. Others are the renovation of Ibom Hotels and Golf Resort, Christmas Unplugged, Urban Maritime and Jetty Project, CNG City Bus Project, Ikodekmene International Market, and renovation of the House of Assembly Complex and Speaker's Lounge, amongst others. Meanwhile, in his remarks, the Speaker of the House of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Elder Udeme Otong, lauded the Governor for his inclusive leadership style and innovative governance approach. He appreciated the Governor for the ongoing renovation of the Assembly Complex and pledged continued legislative collaborations with the executive arm of government. Government House correspondent Jen Owa reports that on their part, some stakeholders who spoke commended Governor Moino's commitment to effective service delivery, fiscal prudence, and the celebrated development of Akwa Ibom State, pledging their continued support to the Governor as a leader of APC and Team Akwa Ibom United. In the meantime, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has expressed satisfaction with the pace and quality of ongoing work at the construction site of Ibom International Hotel, which he described as a state-of-the-art facility designed to meet global standards. Interacting with Government House correspondents shortly after inspecting the 14th-floor facility located along the State Shopping City corridor, Governor commended the contractor for their dedication to work and urged them to adhere to the project's delivery timeline. On his part, the contractor, engineer Samara of Bracon Construction Company Limited, while appreciating the state government for providing the necessary resources, assured that the project would be ready for commissioning as scheduled. Government House correspondent Jen Owa reports that the Ibom International Hotel is a 200-bedroom facility designed to complement the State International Convention Center and a shopping city, which are geared towards boosting the state tourism asset. Let's move now to Africa, where Ethiopia has accused Eritrea of preparing to wage war against it in collusion, with an opposition grouping in the latest sign of escalating tensions between the two neighbors over control of the Red Sea. Ethiopia's accusation is contained in a letter sent by its foreign minister Gideon Timotheus to UN Chief Antonio Guterres, warning that the collusion had become more evident over the past few months. Eritrea has not yet commented on the letter, but its relationship with Ethiopia has become increasingly strained in recent months. Ethiopia has been rallying support to regain access to the Red Sea, causing alarm in Eritrea as it took control of the coastline at independence in 1993. Still in Africa, Burkina Faso's military government says it has arrested 8 people of a Dutch-based humanitarian organization, accusing them of spying and treason. There are 3 Europeans, a Malian and 4 Burkinabe, among them the NGO's country's director and deputy. The organization said they were detained some time ago, but it was not previously reported. Security Minister Mahamadou Sana said the NGO had collected and passed on sensitive security information that could be detrimental to the national security and the interests of Burkina Faso to foreign powers. Meanwhile, the International NGO Safety Organization, which provides safety information to aid workers, has categorically denied the allegations. Anthony Neal, a representative of the NGO, told reporters that its Burkina Faso country director had been detained since July when the organization was suspended. On the foreign scene, Switzerland on Wednesday extended partial unemployment benefits to limit layoff by companies hit by rising U.S. tariffs, which have particularly hurt watchmakers and small industrial exporters. Recall that the White House imposed 39% tariff on Swiss goods in August, a much higher rate than that applied to the European Union. In a press release, Switzerland's Federal Council announced that it was extending the maximum duration of partial unemployment compensation to 24 months compared to 18 months previously. Partial unemployment in Switzerland refers to workers forced to reduce their hours or not work at all, whilst remaining officially on staff, with the government paying part of their salary. The extension will take effect at the start of November. So on the foreign scene, Afghanistan's UN-sanctioned foreign minister arrived in India today, the first visit by a top Taliban leader since the return to power in 2021, following the withdrawal of US-led forces. American Mottaki trips made possible after the UN Security Council granted him a travel waiver, is expected to be closely watched by India's arch-rival Pakistan, as New Delhi deepens its engagement with the Taliban government. Neither side has disclosed their agenda, but analysts say trade and security are likely to be at the forefront, though India is unlikely for now to extend formal recognition to the Taliban government. Still to come in the news. Argentina dumps Nigeria out of Under-20 World Cup with 4-0 thrashing. Stay tuned for details of this in a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is Spectrum News at 10. We move now to a business scene where the World Bank has said despite the economic reforms of the federal government, 139 million Nigerians still live in poverty. The World Bank's country director for Nigeria, Matthew Vaches, stated this at the launch of the Nigerian Development Update report in Abuja, the nation's capital. Vaches commended the government for taking some steps in stabilizing the economy through recent policy reforms. He, however, warned that more needs to be done to ensure better living standards for Nigerians. The country director also raised concerns over the nation's food inflation rate, increased allocations from the Federation Accounts Allocations Committee, and what he calls a shock-responsive safety net system to help households manage crisis. Still in business, the Senate has confirmed that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has submitted responses to 19 audit queries concerning an unaccounted 210 trillion naira covering financial years from 2017 to 2023. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Public Accounts, Senator Aliyu Wadada, who made the disclosure, explained that although the NNPCL had responded to the committee's questions, the Senate has yet to critically examine the submissions. The queries relate to discrepancies in the audited accounts of the Nigerian oil companies, which the Senate has described as lacking transparency. Recall that the committee had issued a 3-week deadline to NNPCL Chief Executive Officer Bayo Ojulari on July 29 to provide answers regarding the 210 trillion naira flagged in audit report. Let's move now to health, where a federal high court in Abuja has granted a week's extension to the medical panel set up by the president of the Nigerian Medical Association, NAM, to assess the health status of the detained leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. The time extension is meant to enable the panel to conclude its assignment. The extension of time became necessary owing to the panel's inability to conclude its assignment within the 8 days allocated to it by the court. Recall that in a ruling on September 26, Justice James Omotoshin ordered the NMA president to, among others, set up a team of medical experts to examine Kanu's health status and ascertain whether or not he is still fit to undergo his ongoing terrorism trial. Still in health, the national president of the Association of Dental Technologists of Nigeria, Dr. Eyarefe Stephen, has called for increased investment, innovation and policy reforms to transform dental technology education and practice in Nigeria. Speaking at the 34th Scientific Conference and Annual General Meeting of the association held in Gombe State on Wednesday, Eyarefe said the time had come for stakeholders to reimagine the profession through technology, improved training and stronger government support. The 3-day conference themed Transforming Dental Technology Education and Practice in Nigeria, Challenges, Opportunities and Innovation, drew participants from across the country, including students, professionals and health policy makers. Let's move now to sports, where 6-time champions Argentina handed Nigeria a heavy 4-0 defeat on Wednesday night in Santiago, knocking the Flying Eagles out of the ongoing FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile. The result avenged Argentina's elimination by Nigeria at the same stage 2 years ago when they hosted the tournament. Alejo Sanko opened scoring for the Argentines just 2 minutes into the game, setting the tone for a dominant performance. Maha Carrizo doubled the lead with a sublime free kick in the 23rd minute after Nasiru Salihu fouled an opponent at the edge of the box, disrupting Nigeria's rhythm early on. Nigeria's appeal for a penalty was ignored despite Ramirez's rough challenge on Saliu in the area. Still in sport, Barcelona will face Villarreal in Miami in a La Liga match on December 20, making it the first European League fixture to be played abroad. Earlier this week, European football governing body UEFA said it opposed the idea of games being played overseas, but would permit it on an exceptional basis, along with a Serie A match in Australia in February between AC Milan and Como. The game was due to be played at Villarreal's home stadium, but will now take place at the Hard Rock Stadium in the United States in Florida. Villarreal will take measures to compensate season ticket holders after the game was moved. On entertainment news, controversial Nigerian self-acclaimed relationship expert Blessing CEO has spoken after she announced breakup from fiancé IVD. Blessing CEO, in an Instagram post on Wednesday afternoon, announced the cancellation of her upcoming marriage ceremony with popular Lagos celebrity and auto dealer IVD. The announcement that came as a shock to netizens sparked controversy online. However, breaking silence amid the outrage, the self-acclaimed relationship expert disclosed that she made her engagement cancellation post to test her touch of controversy. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James. Enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for watching.